My name's Natalie Kington. I'm the owner of 3 Laser Clinics Australia stores in Brisbane. I have 3 businesses run over 4 sites. I have 55 people working in my business, and my turnover on a monthly basis is between $350,000 and $400,000, and annually my business brings in around 12 million. So before I discovered Kaibizzen, I felt like life was enormously hard. Obviously there's a few challenges in my life, having 55 people working for me, having 3 businesses, having children, having a family, and I just felt like it was difficult. It was physically exhausting, it was emotionally exhausting, and the knock-on effect in terms of my social life, my family, was that they just had a small percentage of me, because every day I was just getting up and I was giving 150% just to run my businesses effectively. And yeah, it was really difficult. So things that made it particularly difficult for me was the unpredictable nature of my staff. One of my staff members who were high performing one week were not turning up to work because they had a personal problem the following week. I always say that I have in my business 10 to 20% of my staff are misbehaving. So when you've got 55, you know, that's a significant amount. You've got sort of between 5 and 10 people who are giving you grief. So my business, my staff is very closely linked to my profitability. So it's imperative that my staff are high performing every day, they're motivated, they're committed, and I was finding that difficult to maintain. So some of the activities and strategies that I undertook to keep that high level of performance from my staff was involving myself a lot in what was going on for them. So training them, monitoring them, following up with them, being there when whatever crisis took hold and stopped them from performing their role. There was a lot of me that was being invested in maintaining that performance from them, and that comes back to why I found it difficult, because that takes a lot out of a person. It took a lot out of me, and that had ripple effects, and it also is just not sustainable. So one of the main reasons why I felt like I was stuck on this max speed and couldn't get off, which was not sustainable, was because my businesses were actually running incredibly well. The turnover was great. They were ranked in some of the highest in Australia. I was training, I was mentoring, I was performance managing, but the common denominator was me. So I was involved in every step with every single person, every 1 to 55, I was involved intimately in their performance, in their life, why they were going well, why they weren't going well. And unless I could clone myself, that just wasn't going to work. So it wasn't that I didn't feel like I was doing the right things, I just knew it couldn't last. And that was a really troubling thought. So I got to a point where I was almost falling off that treadmill, and I came across Kaibizzen. I was saying to a friend, I honestly feel like the internal building blocks of my core leadership were just crumbling, and at a faster rate every day. And I thought, I'm not going to be able to do another year with the strength that I require to run these 55 people and to keep this business standing up. And I was very fortunate to come across Kaibizzen, and I didn't need help with my running of the business or my operations as such. I was all over that. I needed help with my core leadership, my mindset, and how I was going to drive this business forward, and that's what I got from Kaibizzen. So the initial impact upon meeting with Kaibizzen was fairly immediate, surprisingly immediate. There was a great sense of relief. I think it's very therapeutic talking to someone who understands the stresses that you are going through and the challenges that are involved in a business, and also that can educate you, being the experts in the field, on employing strategies to overcome them, so that you feel like you can maintain the speed of the business and maintain the growth of the business without taking too much from yourself. So for me, immediately I knew that I'd made the right decision. I think long-term impact of working with Kaibizzen, really, if I had to encapsulate it, is growing your removing your limitations and growing your beliefs to a point where you are effectively running businesses that are performing better than you ever thought possible, are more profitable than you ever thought possible, and actually more enjoyable than you ever thought possible. So a couple of landmark things that have happened since I started working with Kaibizzen. My three businesses are 3 out of what makes up a business of 130 clinics in Australia. 2 of my businesses sit 2nd and 3rd in terms of their revenue ranking in Australia, and my 3rd business sits about 7th, and that's month on month. I contribute more revenue, or my revenue is larger than any other owner in Australia, my collective revenue, and I have received a number of accolades from my staff, and most notably I was awarded Owner of the Year at the start of this year, which is a huge achievement, and I can honestly say I'm doing what I do with more joy and more passion than I ever have before, and actually more energy. So instead of feeling like I have nothing for the rest of my life, I have more energy than ever before. I'm a happier person, and I have a great life inside and outside of work because of that.